Hi, welcome to the vlog. I've been meaning to do this vlog for quite some time. In fact, I've tried to do it 3 times and various reasons hasn't worked out very well. So here we go, 3rd time lucky. Starlink. Now I've had a few people ask about Starlink in the caravan. I'm currently on site at Kelvin and Hatch Camping and Caravan Club site. Bit of a chilly, windy day, so I'm going to do most of the filming in here. But I wanted to just show you is the setup. Now that I've done it a few times, I'm a bit used to it. So we'll have a look. So, what is Starlink? So Starlink is satellite internet basically. So you get an internet dish that I'll show you in a minute, set it up, connect everything up, and off you go with internet. Told you it's windy. Now there are a few, just shut this. Now there are a few caveats around Starlink and how it works. Basically, because it's communicating with satellites, it needs a clear sky. By that I don't mean cloudy, but I mean trees. We just come back from Carsington Water in the Peak District on a site which was full of pine trees, and although it worked, about every minute the internet would stop and restart again because the obstructions in the trees. So it needs a clear line of sight of not just one satellite but a range of satellites, and I'll explain that in a minute. So what do you need to get? So over here, there's the router, so that plugs into the mains, and the Starlink satellite dish plugs into that, so that shows up on your list of Wi-Fi devices. So here is the dish. Now they call it a dish, it's not a dish actually, it's just a rectangle thing, weatherproof, has a facility where you could press a button and it melts the snow on it should snow build up, and that's the cable that plugs into the dish and then into the router I just showed you there. So that's pretty much all the kit. Now there are a few other cables that I've bought, but I'll explain those in a minute. You don't need to get those, that's just me being technology obsessed, I guess. So what I'll do, I'll set the satellite up, try to film a bit because, like I say, it is windy, and we'll go from there. Right, as it's not too windy, I'll just have a quick chat about this. So you get this bracket with it, and I just slotted that in there, and that's it basically. So then that cable plugs into your router. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to peg these down as well, just in case the wind picks up. So that cable then plugs into the other end, which I'll show you now. So here's the bottom of the router. As you can see, the power just plugs in there, and then the cable that comes from the dish plugs in there. Done. And that should stand up nicely. Then that plugs into the mains. Obviously it does sit out there on its own, so if you're a little bit paranoid about theft, then you know, I don't know what to suggest really. You can't really lock it to anything. So I'm going to plug this into the mains here. Now you won't get anything on the router other than a white light under there. That's it. So now there's an app that you get, which I'll now start up. Right, so this is going to be tricky. Here's the app. It's disconnected at the moment. Now, one of the things you're probably going to need to do is check for any obstructions. So basically what you do is you go and stand by your dish like an absolute trolley, and oh, there you go, it's just moving there. It's just, so if I do a check for obstructions, I've got the standard, confirm, scan entire, so you've got to stand by this and scan the entire sky. Basically, say move your camera up, and what it's going to do is going to tell you where satellites are. Hopefully you'll be able to see them coming in, or maybe not. So scan the entire sky, infinity %. Who knows what that is? So scan the entire sky, point your camera upwards, there you go, see the satellites coming in. Basically want to just get to 100% with this. Oh, why does it keep doing that? So I'm not entirely sure what was going on there. I've not seen that before. He said infinity sky or something. Hopefully you can see me. It's so dark in this damn. Well, this is a disaster, isn't it? Disaster vlogs. So once you're happy that you've not got any obstructions above you, that app should tell you. Bring all the satellites in. I don't know if it's just a show. I don't know that you need to do it. But anyway, so there are some trees around here. What I do is, look, I can see it on my phone. I've gone into Wi-Fi. Hopefully you can see that. And Starlink is there. Connecting to Sky. Obviously it's Caravan Vlogger Starlink. There you go. No internet connection. It does take some time to, I think it said like 15 minutes or something to initially set up. And obviously you'd need to do that every time. Right, so now on the app it says calculating orientation. So you probably see the dish move a few times. So on the app there it says calculating orientation. Now this takes some time. Oh, it says there Starlink connected. Just as I was saying that. Starlink connected. So it may take a few minutes. Oh, it says online. Oh, there it goes, moving. So the few times I've been using it, that is kind of the type of angle that it does end up at when it's happy. It'll go like vertically or horizontally flat and then move around and find when it's tracking the satellites. So on the app it's saying online. Now in the past it says trying to find GPS location, and that takes about 15 minutes. Downloading update. I think you see that 14%. Okay, let's let it download and update then. So that's the update. That's the update finished. Now I think it took about 5 minutes or something. All seems to be working. So all I've done is saw me just plonk it out there, and as long as you've got a clear view of the sky, it just works. Now I know that in the Peak District where we were surrounded in trees, it was a nightmare, but you know, that's to be expected, and before you get it you need to know that you need a clear view of the sky and not covered with trees. Now it did work with when it was covered with trees, but it took forever. It does this thing where it tries to find a GPS signal, and when I did the view obstructions, which I couldn't really show you there because for some reason it didn't work, but there was a lot of obstructions. I'll insert a picture here because I'm sure I did it while I was in the Peak District. I'll show you the pictures of it. It gives you a map of where the obstructions are in the sky, like trees and stuff, and then over time it seems to self-heal. But straight away, excuse the wind, straight away here you do get a speed test with the app. I'll just show you. I'll try to so see their speed test. I'll just run that. Now just run that a minute ago and it was 112. They are 65 megabits a second. Now that's perfectly acceptable. There is an advanced speed test to show you that. Router to internet 180, 190, 200. 278 megabits a second. There you go. Boom. So I kind of mentioned earlier that I had a couple of extra cables. Now the cables I bought is you can get a cable, so we've got a router on the Caravan, the MaxView router, Roam X, So that gets my 4G from EE, or actually EE or free. I've got two SIMs in there. The free, the EE one I paid for myself. The 3 one was given me by Broadband Go to do some testing on their unlimited data, which I've been using. It's been, I mean, fantastic. I mean, sometimes I guess you wouldn't go out and buy 2 SIM cards yourself, but there's a link in the description for Broadband Go and also where I got the EE SIM card from. So this cable, it will plug from the Starlink router there into my router in the Caravan. And I can put the router in what's called bypass mode or pass-through mode. Can't remember which now. Pass-through mode. That means I can connect to the Starlink from my Caravan router. It just gets it all in one place. I wanted to do some testing with that, but what I didn't realise, or in fact what I forgot to think about, was to plug it into the router from the Starlink router to my MaxView router. I need to go through the Caravan somehow, and I haven't really figured that out yet. So at the moment I'm keeping the router in the awning, and I can connect to it, connect to the Wi-Fi from the Caravan, even with the door shut. It's fine. So disadvantages, well, disadvantages I suppose is if you haven't got clear sky, then you ain't going to get a particularly fast speed. You've got to leave the dish out there. I mean, is that okay? I don't know, if this site gets really busy in the summer, you're going to have kids kicking balls around, so then maybe you want to do something mounted on the roof, but then you've got to go through the skylight or go somewhere to get the cable from the router, which will probably be in your Caravan, to the device, the dish which is outside the Caravan. So I've got to think about that yet. So it's by no means a perfect solution. You can get several different mounts for it. Now the reason what made me plump for it in the end was they were doing half price on the dish, so it's £199, and it's £85 a month for the Roam version, so you can use it wherever you are. Now I've seen a few people say, oh, but it's regional, but by a region they mean Europe, so we could go to France and use that, Germany, or wherever, obviously wherever in Europe. I'm not going to list every single European country, but you could use it there. That's £85 a month. Now when you're not using it, you can pause it. So if I don't think I'm going to use that for another month, I can pause it, save myself £85, then when you want to reactivate it again, reactivate it. Now one thing I know a few people have fallen foul of is they get to a location where there's no 4G and they think, oh great, Starlink. However, to get to, you have to go onto Starlink's website to change it from paused to live again. For that you need 4G, or you need some kind of internet access, so you can't, do you know what I mean? So you have to think ahead. You can't just go, oh sod it, no 4G, let's go on Starlink, because you won't be able to access the Starlink website to reactivate your membership. So there are several different mounts. Yeah, so one of the reasons I did get it is because whenever we get our next house, I think I'm just going to use Starlink from broadband, because you can get it connected to the house, and then you can change to a £75 a month residential subscription, which, you know, may be a bit more expensive than your talks and all that kind of stuff. If I stuck with Roam, I can just take the dish with me and use it in the Caravan as well. I don't know, do I recommend it? Yeah, I mean, this, you know, if you're doing YouTube videos, like we're away on holiday, we're doing a tour at the moment, although in fairness I haven't need to use it yet, because we're in the UK and EE or free, they cover pretty much all the UK. You're going to get a reasonably good signal most of the time, but when we go to France, it'll come into its own. Now there is no way on earth I can justify it financially. The only way to justify it financially is if you was getting rid of your mobile, getting rid of the SIM and getting rid of everything else, rather than use both. So I recommend it. I mean, it works. You can see there, I mean, if you've got a good line of sight to the satellites, then it takes 5 minutes to set up. If you're in a bit of a wooded area, then possibly it might take a bit longer to find satellites, and over period of time, possibly it says maybe as long as 12 hours, it will fine-tune itself. So when we were in the woods, like I say, it did work, but we were watching Sky Sports, and for some reason, well, it just kept freezing every minute or so and then start again. If you found this useful, the old thumbs up, subscribe for more content, and hit the bell icon if you want to be notified when I release new videos, which are basically weekly. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. This is quality caravan vlogging.